Now I'm back. Yep.
Jamie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
All right.
you
For
clear.
some reason the my microphone permissions in the app or something got all screwed up. So I had to stop the stream for a second and fix that.
What music were you playing, man? Maybe we should start off with some of them vibes you had playing.
It was, I don't know, when I went into YouTube, it said there's like a handful of songs you can use without copyright issues, and they have a whole list, so I just downloaded a couple.
We should play our own music, get some vibes, man.
Yeah, we could, except, you know, I've had issues even with YouTube,
Oh,
like, you know, it's crazy, I was doing on my music channel like a little tutorial where I was just throwing together a song and I used like a drum loop or something, and I got a copyright claim on a drum loop.
yeah, I should think so. You cheat.
It
You
was
little
like
son of a bitch.
it was
You
like
little creep.
the most
Creeping around, stealing them drum beats.
yeah, it was the most
Good
ridiculous
for them.
thing. Cause like generally if I'm working real quick, I'll just throw a drum loop in just so I have something keeping the
Dude,
time. And
that kind of shit's gonna hit your social credit score, man. Don't
that
you know?
right? Yeah. I
Don't you
you
know?
know what's funny is I've noticed out of nowhere, it's so odd how you'll have these issues and then out of nowhere everyone hops on the bandwagon. And like I remember that being a big deal last year, and now it's like
Dude,
all
I
of a
keep
sudden
falling off the wagon.
it's like all of a sudden people just notice that China introduced this really dystopian thing, and I'm like I think I was doing videos on that when I first started this channel. Now,
Wait, yeah.
or you know what the
Yeah,
other
funny.
thing is even I noticed this week like Ben Shapiro did an interview with Tucker Carlson, and now 2 weeks later everyone's like freaking out over something Tucker said about driverless cars, and like some things bother me way more than it should. But when I see Owen Benjamin be like Stefan Molyneux destroyed Tucker's argument, it's like Tucker didn't even put forth an argument. Molyneux completely misrepresented what he was saying, and yeah, if he built up the straw man, yeah, he destroyed it, but all Tucker was saying is, if you're going to have technology take out an industry that employs 10 million people, well, that's 10 million families. You can't be surprised when people start saying, maybe socialism would work. Like, you just can't, like, it's like all he's saying is just he's pointing to the obvious. Like, how demoralized can people get without them looking for an alternative? And by just pointing that out, like, I don't know. I thought Tucker was being really reasonable. Have you seen anything about that?
Not a thing. The only thing that I saw, like, close to that was Gavin McInnes obviously getting threatened by the FBI with
Yeah,
quite badly. Yeah.
that's ridiculous. You know, and
But it's not. We saw that coming, didn't we?
yeah,
Like,
you knew
fucking
it was going to
yeah.
be. I mean,
I mean, I feel sorry for the guy, but I mean,
it's
fuck,
as simple as this. You know, if you have Antifa and they're going to label them as a terrorist group, you know, obviously the group that they keep clashing with, you
He
and
needs to get out America. I wrote him on YouTube. I was just like, get on the plane and just leave, bro.
yeah, because
You're
but you
in
know what
too
the
deep
other thing
now.
that bothers me about is like it's almost like I feel like we're back to the statue thing with Trump being like, you know, there are some decent people on both sides, but now it's like we're like there's some villains on both sides, and it's like it's aggravating when you have one group that's the antagonizer and the other group is just like we're not standing for this anymore. Like if you're a group that's throwing pipe bombs in people's, you know, knocking over trash cans and ATMs and everything like that, and then next thing you know someone punches you in the face, you can't say the person that punched you in the face is the bad guy.
Celine Dion's a vampire.
Yeah, I know. Someone's knocking. Um, Yeah, I noticed that the whole kids clothing line thing. That was probably the most mind blowing thing that I had.
I've told so many people I see that go, Celine Dion's a vampire. And they just look at me as if I'm weird. I'm like, Google it.
Oh, that commercial. I still haven't even watched the whole thing. I only saw a clip of it.
Put it on, dude.
That is the most
Put it on.
craziest thing, and even the rest of the clothes that company puts out are
What the hell? It's got. Oh yeah, we'll check them out in a bit, man. Watch that advert. It's creepy. Like she goes, they're all our kids. They all belong to a circle, a chain. And then she goes in and throws this magic black dust, and these demons appear on the babies.
I mean, I really couldn't believe that she had like a kid's onesie that says New Order on it. Like, how much more in your face can you get?
Then it's got like adult handprints. So the adult handprints are on clutching babies. So it's just got the clothes. It's just got like a human, like an adult hand print. That's fucking weird. And then it's got like literal pig baby demons. And one kid's got a t-shirt that says "Ho" on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
One looks like she's about to attend an Eyes Wide Shut party. She's like 5.
As we are all just links in the chain that is life, for us, they are everything. But in reality, we are only a fraction of their universe. I mean, even like the blowing of the black glitter dust and all of that, and then everything goes black. Like, I don't, like, yeah, she has to be into, like, occultic vampire. You're gonna get us a copyright strike. Stop that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, girl, and I'm Beyonce. Yeah, it's like you have to be into some dark shit in order to think that this is like a good thing.
Dude, I mean, yeah, they're just rolling with it now. Everybody knows.
And you know what the thing is too.
Pull it out now, dude. You're just like so 1990s, man. Come on, like we're not.
The thing.
Kids aren't the way they were when you were a kid, dude. They're old enough to make decisions, man.
Yeah, I
They can
guess.
choose their gender. They know like how about gun control. You need to start listening to them.
The
They
thing-
don't, you know, open bordered them, man.
The thing that bothers
Free
me most
nation.
about it is, like, you know, I have my own issues with the whole gender, whatever you want to call it, and
How did Celine Dion get roped into this, man?
well, actually, Owen Benjamin, because he is the new Alex Jones, basically. He was talking about it, and he really dug in deep. Where I don't know if anyone remembers, but Celine Dion had a manager who was also her husband named Renee. Now, he met her when she was like 12, and he was in like his 30s. And he had been dating her since she was a child. So, I mean, that's how she got roped in, was she's been part of this whole system. And, you know, people overlook things like that. Like, I remember Charlotte Church. I'm pretty sure she was like a young,
How dare you?
tween singer, but who would do opera music. And then next thing you know, she was like, went all crazy. But it's because it doesn't matter if you're doing pop music or classical or whatever, but if you're on that very top tier level, you're tied into some shit.
Now's the time to normalize it, man.
Well, that's what this is.
Everyone
and it's
like
like,
knows about
I
it.
almost feel like the whole gender neutrality nonsense.
Like,
on
Celine
this-
Dion's okay with it. Why can't you be okay with it, Jamie?
Well, that's the attitude, basically, that they're trying to
Come
put
on.
with it.
I mean,
Through the
she did the Titanic film, and Titanic's great. That suicidal bitch.
even their
Sorry, man.
website for this clothing line. How is this pronounced? Nununu.
Nunu, which is some kind of Israeli something, isn't it? It's Israeli, the company.
But it's
I don't know
like
why I'm telling you that.
a whole
but
bunch
I'm
of
just saying.
skulls on the thing. Are you telling me that this is a plot by the Jews?
Nah. But it looks quite Masonic.
Yeah, it does. All these weird skulls, and everything's got skull prints. And I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, you know, okay, you're not into pink and blue, all right, but what's this, like, all the death imagery? Like, skulls aren't very lively. Like, it's like literally cradle to grave with this nonsense. It's like, oh, they were born, mark them with the sign of death. Let's see, celebs. Oh, what are these? Just pictures of celebrities with their kids wearing the crap?
No.
Oh yeah, they got a whole bunch of pictures. Kourtney Kardashian and Rain in our light brushstroke baggy pants. Who's this bitch?
So that's like a catalogue to get them into
Hilary
like
Duff.
movies, I guess.
Selma Blair, Hilary Duff, Kourtney.
Sacrifice the
Gwen
firstborn!
Stefani,
Molech needs more sacrifices!
Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, they got a whole section of just celebrities and their kids.
Come on,
wearing their
Molech needs
shit.
just a little bit of blood, Jamie. Just a few, just the firstborn, that's it. Come on. Come on.
Oh, here, Celine's got her whole own little section here. Yeah, I almost thought I was seeing like a joke when I saw isn't there like a hijab even too? Or like a ninja outfit? I can't tell the difference between the two now. Right in time for Christmas.
Yeah, how was your Thanksgiving?
New Order. It was good. You know, I ate with my family and stuff. Later in the evening, I watched the movie The Happy Time Murders, and it was really surprising.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because it's got Muppets in it, but it was pretty. It must have been like R-rated. It wasn't like a kids Muppet movie. It was
No way.
It was pretty funny. Yeah, it was about like the idea of like Muppets and people living together in the real world. So I mean, there was like there were some parts in it though, even where it like mocked political correctness and everything like that. So it was all right. I can't get over the fact that there's like a shirt on it that just says New Order. I really hope the band New Order sues them. Like you're infringing on our band name. What was the thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, the insane level. I feel like it hasn't been until recently. Oh, let me just show off since my mug finally came real quick. I got my Mug Club mug that I'm drinking out of. But I never really understood the phrase gaslighting. And more, I'm starting to understand it and see it. Like, Michelle Obama is the queen of it. Where, like, she'll come out and say, you know...
You're not really talking to me. I'm not even here.
Right? Yeah.
This is your imagination.
Yeah, and it's
You're not doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, it's
You're at work.
It's like a tactic to make people go crazy, where it's like you'll have Michelle Obama come out and say, I've never been proud of America until the day Barack Obama got elected. America is so awful. And then she'll go and do an interview and be like, I don't know why
I never said you
everyone
can keep
thinks
your
I'm
doctor,
against
okay?
America. I love
I
this
didn't say that. I
country.
never said that. I never said you can keep your doctor.
I mean, it'd be like Obama coming out and being like, I love cops. Cops are great. They protect us and serve us, and they don't do anything wrong after 8 years of talking about how they're all racist and need to be reined in. And, like, CNN, they are the masters of it, though, because this whole thing...
Trump did nothing wrong.
This whole thing with the Jim Acosta thing at the White House, and it seems very
Trump
petty.
did nothing wrong.
It seems so petty, but it illustrates the way they try to manipulate and bend the truth all the time, where it's like, it went within the span of 2 weeks to, the video of Jim Acosta and the intern is doctored. It's not real. Prison Planet, you know. And this is the most mind-boggling part. It shows you how idiotic they are. You've already got Alex Jones deplatformed from everything.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Sanders sends out a tweet, and if you didn't mention it, this wouldn't even be an issue. But you've now dragged Alex Jones back into the headlines. Like, you are
They
continually...
need to give him a White House press, give him a pass.
They are
And
just
sitting next to Jim Acosta, that'd be great.
they are making him stay relevant in the mainstream by continually watching him, and anytime he even peeks through the cracks, they shine a big old flashlight on it, where it's like...
Fox Day was on it on Friday night, by the way.
Was he? I didn't check that yet.
Yeah, I thought you might like that.
Yeah, I just bought his new book and Milo's new book, which I've started Milo's. Milo's is really good. It's about the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And the other one's about Jordan Peterson, which I'm sure is going to be great.
Jordanetics,
Yup.
I like that.
Yeah.
Jordanetics.
Well, and it really, like, even, you know, I read Milo's introduction to it, and there are some really good even key points that Milo points out, where it's like, in Jordan Peterson's basic worldview, you know, and not to get too much sidelined from what I was saying about CNN and Acosta, but in Jordan Peterson's basic worldview, you have the masculine as order and the woman as chaotic. And, like, Milo just poses the question, like, what do you think his relationship with his daughter or his wife is like if he solely views women as a source of chaos? Like, what about the nurturing mother? What about, you know, the feminine compassion and all that? Like, it's not this cut and dry.
Dude, leave him alone. He didn't sleep for like 40 days.
Right?
He slept there in terror. Just leave. I mean, give the guy a break. Come on, man.
That goddamn apple cider. Yeah, I mean, he is so out there.
Why don't you just tidy your damn room?
Me and Brett were talking about it yesterday, and we were like, is this guy like on the edge of a mental break and the globalist?
Depends what you mean
like,
by a mental breakdown.
Right? Yeah, you wonder like how nefarious he is, or is he just out there and the globalists are kind of using him because
maybe a mental breakdown is what you need. Get you through the end of that darkness. Maybe you need to see the realization.
Yeah. Oh, man. But anyway, real quick, just with what I was saying about CNN, you know, they said the video was doctored, that it wasn't real and everything like that. Then it went from Jim Acosta didn't even touch her. The video is real, but Jim Acosta didn't even touch her while they're showing the video of him touching her. And now on The View, they are saying that she battered Jim Acosta.
Yeah, that's how I saw it, to be honest.
Like, how is it that it went from it's a fake video to it's a real video, but he didn't do anything wrong, to now she did something wrong by going after him? I just love
it when Sarah Sanders just wipes the floor with him over and over. Why would you kick him out? Come on. We love a bit of that. Put him back in. You can go back in with Sarah Sanders. I'm happy with that. Because that was some good TV at least.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of tennis.
Yeah, she is great. And you know what the other thing, though, I have to say is, like, you know, all these liberals want to talk about strong women.
I fancy Sarah Sanders.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All these liberals talk all day about
she is a lady.
Strong woman, empowered woman, this, and that. And the only place I see strong,
she'll
empowered
tell you to
women...
tidy your damn room.
Yeah,
way
yeah.
Better.
She will, any of these reporters try bucking up to her, she will put you in your place so quick. Like... it's almost like conservative women remind me of the black girls I grew up with, where it's like, because they just don't tolerate it. Sarah Sanders will just be like, you're wrong, you're full of shit, I don't know what you're talking about, get out of here. Like, yeah.
The whole thing, it was all staged just so CNN can try and get a lawsuit on Trump. First of all, it's the headline, CNN sues Trump. And it's like, not ever going to happen.
Well, not even that. I've heard that Jim Acosta basically is, like, using this whole thing as an audition for his own show. Like, he wants to be the CNN Tucker Carlson, basically. So,
yeah, I can see that. But also, they might try and push through, like, a standard about new rules for what press can be in a White House and what rules Trump can have about telling them to shut up. Because then they can steer the agenda. Because if someone's got to control the White House press conference, it's either going to be Trump or it's going to be Jim Acosta. And CNN and everyone else wants that to be Jim Acosta, so they can set new regulations and standards.
But the thing is they
to
are
help Jim Acosta to be a loudmouth, and then Trump will have something to talk about, and they'll just keep changing the subject about what did you say about Mexicans? We'd be like talking about a tax deal, and this one, I want to give Americans a break, and they'll go, what about the Americans? You said they should all go home.
You know what?
Yeah, but the tax bill.
You know what?
Someone will go, what about what you said about grabbing by the pussy?
You know what Trump would do if he's smart?
Are you going to apologize for saying pussy?
You know what Trump would do if he was really smart?
Are you going to apologize for the way you've divided America?
Trump should come out.
Are you going to... Do you see my point?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. What Trump should do if he wanted to handle that situation well is he should come out and he should say, you know what, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I've realized that my predecessor... While we may differ on some areas, he knew what he was doing in regards to his handling of the media and the press. Obama was right, and we're not doing these press conferences all the time anymore. Because Obama did.
Why doesn't Trump just have a podcast?
He should. That's, in Vox Day, actually, that's what his last podcast was about. And he said the benefits of silence, I think he was talking about, where he said, it doesn't matter if it's alternative or mainstream media. There is
and
agenda.
Make sure you do it so it's not on YouTube or Facebook. Do it on one of these platforms where it's more freedom of speech, and then that will force CNN onto those platforms.
Yeah, and he basically just said, I put out my information on my terms. Like, I will do my podcast on my terms. I will talk about what I want to talk about.
And read hateful comments.
Yeah, I'll take the questions I want to take, and. Why do otherwise? I mean, obviously there's some exceptions. Like you said, Vox was on InfoWars. But, I mean, I don't see... Alex never really guides the conversation. He may ask a question or two here, but, if you want to get into something else, I've never seen him...
Well, him and Steve Pichanek. I saw one with Steve... Because I didn't get to watch much, but I saw one with Steve Pichanek. And they were at each other. Like Steve Pichanek was telling Alex was wrong all the time.
They always bicker.
And Alex, I think, that's what you want,
Yeah.
I think Steve Pichanik's probably right on that too.
Well, and you know what the other thing though is I've noticed with Pichanek and Alex, it's mainly a differentiation on what the priorities should be.
Yeah.
Where Pichanek...
Well, no, I still think Trump's a stooge. I don't know. I'm still 50-50. That's a bit harsh.
Well, and
because he is at least shutting down paedophile rings. So I don't know.
Well, you know what? That's why Pichanek was basically saying the last time I saw him on there. He said, there's a reason why Trump is surrounded by military, and it's to keep Trump in line. Because if Trump does step out of line and doesn't stick to the agenda that he was voted into as per the military and everyone, we'll out him. And there'll just be a coup, but it will be a coup done by the right people. So I mean,
a coup by the right people.
Well, by military and generals, it will be a they'll basically, like the way they should have ousted Obama. Say, you're violating the Constitution. The military is supposed to protect us from enemies, foreign and domestic.
Dude, they're just gonna hang on and put Michelle in 2020. Girlfriend.
Well, I doubt
sister.
The military wouldn't put an Obama in. The Obamas were very hostile to the U.S.
She'll come out as Michael.
Right? Yeah. That'd be so great. And no, you know what would happen? What would happen is she would run.
And if you don't vote for her, you're a transphobic fuck.
Well, no, what would happen is
a racist transphobic.
I wonder. Listen to this. I wonder if what they would do is have her do 2 terms as Michelle. And then come out as Michael afterwards and be like, first I was the first female president. Now I'm the first trans president.
Should be on a motorbike going, why aren't the plants growing? And it'd be some dude going, because you put Kool-Aid on it. Whatever they're drinking.
A friend of mine was telling me, he was like, have you seen the new shit on Netflix lately? And I was like, no, what is it? And he was like, I don't know, some sort of cartoon about superhero Brazilian drag queens or something. And I was like, what? And then it
right down my road.
Yeah, and well, what the thing is, the majority of the Netflix
dude, it's bad when people are recommending shit like that to you. It's like,
Well,
Because kind of
no,
true.
no.
I'm interested in that stuff.
He wasn't
That's what's-
recommending it to me. He was just saying that they're putting all this crazy shit on there now. But the reason why is the majority of the Netflix board, as far as their CEOs and everything like that, were all in Obama's cabinet. That's why the Obamas got that huge deal with Netflix, because most of the people that worked for the Obamas are now running Netflix. Netflix is now a propaganda outlet. It's nothing more than that. You might get, a few other shows that are being re-put on there from other stations. But, I mean, even... I like watching the DC comic shows. I can't take this season of Supergirl. I want to do a video on it so bad, but every episode it just gets even worse, because now she's a refugee from Krypton, and there's a group on the Earth called Agents of Liberty that is targeting the
wait till
aliens.
they do the next Star Wars, bro, with those kiddie refugees.
I mean, it's all sorts of just immigrant propaganda that is just week after week after week. And of course the bad guys are the Agents of Liberty, and it's all got this thin-veiled propaganda message in it, and it's just, I don't know, it's so weird how it's I really think with these DC comic shows, they did the first one or two seasons based off the comics to sink people in, and then afterwards they were just all right, who are our demographics, what messaging can we put in, and it's just, now it's just lesbians everywhere. Speaking of lesbians everywhere, let me tell you, at work, I keep having these trans people at the house, and free country, if you're a woman who wants to present yourself as a guy, I have no objections to it. As long as you're an adult, you can make whatever decisions you want.
That's what a transphobic would say.
Yeah, I guess. But here's the crazy thing is, this last guest that was there is a girl that sees himself as a guy, and then gets, they told me, unhealthy obsessive crushes on girls, straight girls that are in relationships with men, and then they hope that these girls will leave their boyfriends to end up with this trans person. And all I can think is, I'm regardless of how you see yourself, you're a woman who thinks a straight girl will become a lesbian for you.
Dude, that's hate speech, bro. Calm down, man.
I know.
You're going at me because I played some Celine Dion.
But it's these people, it's if you just found yourself a lesbian, your life would be so much easier. But you have these trans people that want to be in relationships with people and then alter how the person they're dating views them, views reality, and it's so self-centered that
Dude, come 2020, that's when the new human comes, the new species.
The trans bot?
The transhuman, transgenderless bot, man. That's going to be wired to Google, it's going to be singularity at once. It's just going to be, everyone's going to be equal again. Everyone's going to have the same access to the same information. Education won't care, man. It won't matter about your IQ. Everyone will be equal. No disadvantage. Be amazing.
I'll tell you,
Never forget your password. Imagine that.
Right?
Imagine never losing your keys. Imagine never losing that wallet.
Well,
you don't even need
right
to walk around with a wallet.
Paul, I saw an article
wallet.
this morning. I saw an article this morning that Louisiana and a handful of other states now are talking about doing driver licenses on an app now instead of having card identification. And all I could think is, I was that's one step away from a chip in your arm.
Get them Google glasses, walk down the road, you see Jamie. I can't remember his name. Is it Michael? Is it Bob? Is it Steve? And then it blinks, goes, no, it's Jamie.
Would you like to add him on Facebook?
Yeah, you two are friends. You met at this place.
Well, actually,
here are some of your memories.
I saw.
You used to earn 10 quid. You better walk the other way.
I saw an article actually that Facebook's
and everything you see is recorded and put on cloud.
Yep. Facebook's user base, as far as the young demographic, has dropped by 40%. There's an exodus from Facebook.
They're on Netflix.
Probably. Which, I mean, that's the
Instagram.
problem. Is
they're on Pinterest. They're on Same shit.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
gonna pull the plug on Facebook anyway. So
Yeah, and then, like you said, like the point you're basically making is, you know, the people will just leave there and go to some other
that's not the
globalist
point I'm
controlled.
making, man. Then we've got 5G coming along. We've already got these particles in our body, and then we're going to react to them. And that's what those purple skies were that you saw in Florida. Those were particles in the atmosphere. You see that, the purple
No,
clouds?
I didn't pull it up though.
Yeah, that was around your area, I thought.
Florida, New York?
You know, I thought it was Florida or Miami. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. That's
I've got a bit of an apology to make as well.
that's a ways away from me. See, Florida
Are
sky
you ready
turned
for my
purple after
apology?
Hurricane Michael. Oh wow. Yeah, sure.
For the last couple of weeks, I've come across a giant cannabis factory
Uh-huh.
and become quite friendly. So I'm getting connoisseur weed, and I've been like a kid in a candy store, man. And especially on a Sunday, I am high as fuck. Like I should be in bed, really, Jamie, right
Nah.
now.
I didn't know they had those in the UK, but I'm kind of not
Do you
surprised.
now? So I've got some Starr dogs, UK Galetto,
You know, I don't know if
and what else have I got?
I don't know if I
Lemonade Skittles.
remember the one week when I was talking about how it seems like they pass recreational marijuana right as the city is going downhill, when I was saying that about the Canada thing.
Oh, mate, yeah.
I just saw a thing where in Colorado now they just decriminalized shitting in the streets.
About time.
Where it's turning into San Francisco. Where it's like people are just going to the bathroom wherever. It's being turned into a third world country. And it's
Yeah,
like, well, at least you got weed.
yeah. With this weed I'm getting, I mean, normally when you see like the menus on Instagram, people are charging 90 quid for 3.5 grams. And I'm picking up a quarter for 80 quid. Well, I pay a £10 tip. They do it to me for 70 quid for a quarter. So I get double the amount. And they think it's weird. Like people go, "Why do you tip your drug dealer?" It's like, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you tip a waitress, don't you?
I mean, I do that, especially when I have people bringing it to me from country or states where it is growable and recreational, and it's like,
Yeah, they send me what they've got on the menu like every couple of days, and it's like through the roof. Like lemonade Skittles. If I went to London to buy that, you'd need to have good contacts, and I'd get charged at least 90 quid for 3.5.
yeah, I mean,
And I got 7 grams for 70.
and it's like the stuff I'm about to get. It's like the person I know harvested it, trimmed it, and
Yeah,
then
and
is
I was gonna
transporting
say,
it.
yeah, it's like it's changing me because the weed I used to get before obviously wasn't as clean as this.
Yeah,
So it's not knocking me out as much.
yeah,
Oh, it's beautiful.
that's like the thing with me right now, where it's like I'm all out, and it's like I know I have a week or two until I have someone bringing me some from another state, and it's like I
Oh,
don't even
dude,
want to bother wasting money until
the last 10 days I spent 200 quid and just stocked up.
yeah.
'Cause you may as well.
That's what I do.
Oh,
I
it's
had a
beautiful.
friend even a few months ago ask me like, "Who have you been getting weed from?" And I'm like, "I haven't bought weed in months, just because I've had 2 connects that had a ton, and I just stocked
Yeah, and
up."
on Reddit, people don't believe me. People go, "What are you smoking in the UK?" I'm like, "Lemonade Skittles." It's like, "How are you paying for that?" I'm like, £70 a quarter. They're like, "No, no." I was like, "Tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it." And like people, and then my friends are like going, "What?" Because the guy that comes round, like, he'll deliver it to me. Like, he pops around my house. That's well worth 10 quid, man.
Yeah,
Tip. That's an epic service. You're getting, and when you get £10, that really helps me. Why do you think I'm getting it at £70 a quarter? It's because I'm a cool dude.
yeah.
I'm tipping them, bro, and I'm buying it all the time.
Well, especially if it's so much
Ah,
cheaper than it normally is, like you can afford to throw in an extra 10 on it. Like,
before about 7 years, I used to just get one strain, and it was just a knockout weed, and you wonder how they were growing it to make it so knockout.
mm.
Now this stuff, it just seems a lot cleaner. It's like before, it's like you're nearly tranked out.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always have a problem with it. Like, I always get confused actually, because I'll have people talk about, you know, having aches and pains and saying they want to smoke because of that. And that's the one thing where it's like, if my Lyme disease is acting up, smoking is the last thing I'll want to do, because it'll just kind of make me feel extra heavy and tired. And it's like, I'm feeling achy. I want to be up and going. I don't want to be like sedentary and just laying around. But I think it's, you know, they say the CBD is better with the aches and pains, and the THC is better with the psychoactive stuff.
And I've got other people going, you just spent 200 quid on weed? It's like, yeah, I've got 3 varieties, dude, and the street value is like 600. I was like, of course I fucking bought it.
Yeah. What's the thing you
Ah,
want to
we
get into
digress. But yeah, I'm just
about?
saying, if
Well, I
it's
was gonna say
Sunday and it's this time and you ain't stoned, go fuck yourself.
the.
From Joey Diaz.
What's the thing you were talking about wanting to revisit the OTO?
Did you see put in the Lucis Trust, man? Check that out. Do you know what the Lucis Trust is?
It's a publishing company, right?
Check it out, man. Just saying, look into it, man. That's all I'm saying. And tell you what I was. You know, I was talking about all this shit about the new human and stuff. Where I wanted to go with that, I want you to change my mind. You know, Stephen Crowder changed my mind. Change my mind on this. You know, when people used to laugh and call us tinfoil hat wearing,
Mm-hmm.
I reckon wearing a tinfoil hat these days probably isn't such a bad idea. Obviously, you want to cover it up with a real hat so you don't look like a dick. But yeah, why wouldn't you wear a tinfoil hat? If you get me.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing all this stuff that they can remotely access your brain now with all these frequencies
Well, and that's one of
and
the
stuff.
things.
It's like tinfoil hat, bro.
When
Definitely.
I would have this woman call up at the at my one job, and she believed she was being gang stalked. And then if you listen to the things she would say, it's like she thought she was in like a 1950s spy movie. Like she thinks she's
You can buy that on eBay for like 30 quid.
she thinks she's being like trank darted and stuff like that. And all I can think is, I'm like, they can do this shit all with computers and frequencies. Like, why waste money on trank darts when they can just
I
do it all
could do
remotely?
it myself from home, easy. If you go on eBay and just type in electronic low frequency, you get loads of stuff you can buy for like 30 quid.
Yeah.
And just sap people with like crazy stuff. Dude, you're supposed to be changing my mind. Not like,
Lucifer Publishing Company.
look where it is. It's a library in the UN. The UN have got a building in London. And when you say, anyone I've met has said, you know the UN building in London? They always go, no. That's going exactly. Exactly. The UN have got a building in London. Did you know that? Did you know that? And they're like, no. And then there's a library in there. And it's called the Lucis Trust. And it's a library completely dedicated to Satanism.
Well, yeah, even it says the Lucis Trust runs a blog, Goodwill at the UN, which focuses on new sustainable development goals for humanity. You're familiar with the YouTube channel, the Corbett Report?
Yeah, I was kind of on it, wasn't I?
I saw he has these two videos on there where it's like how big oil took over the world, and then one is like why big oil took over the world. And they're really good video documentaries. The one guy on the one, and I don't know if he had a hand in making it or if he was just interviewed for it, but he was on the Alex Jones State of Mind documentary, which was all about mind control. But this one, in one part, they go into eugenics and how eugenics basically morphed into the global sustainability, climate change whole thing, where, like, because after Nazism fell, eugenics left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth that they then were just like, all right, well, let's just, take up the mantle of environmentalism as a means in which to thin out the population and do all this other stuff. And they do a really good job making that case with documentation and letters from these people. And
Well, Melissa Melton and Aaron Dykes have done like a 4-hour film on mind control from MK Ultra to modern day.
yeah,
Mainly focusing on the MK Ultra.
yeah,
But I'm definitely going to get that.
Stuff.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get that DVD.
Wow.
So yeah, you've got this library dedicated to this occultist. Then remember those photos you used to do when you used to see in black and white where they summon up ghosts and it looks like a sheet coming out of someone's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's dedicated to that woman. It's got lots of just all books on Satanism. And now, yeah, the OTO are doing the same in Australia. They've got their religion legalized, and people are protesting because some of the books do talk about child sacrifice, child sex in the rituals, and they've been thrown in jail for hate speech. Going fucking crazy, man. That Lucis Trust. Look at the Lucis Trust library. Have a look at that. Fucking weird, man. Literally, they've got no. I was going to go visit it, maybe.
Oh, they have libraries in London and New York.
No, handy. Dude, that's the UN. The fuck? Yeah, it's Satanist, man. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Isn't it amazing? Even on their site, like the drop-down menu on the side, it says resources, articles, events, full moon, library. Like, you know, when the full moon is one of your drop-down menus, there's something shady going on. You know, one of the things to always keep in mind with this stuff is that, like, you know, people will say all the time, oh, astrology is a whole bunch of, you know, nonsense and everything like that. And it's like, okay, you in your everyday average Joe life may think astrology is nonsense, but the billionaires don't. And even if there's nothing to the cycles of the moon and everything like that, but if, let's say they're basing all their stock market moves off astrology, well, then there is something to it, because they are manifesting it into reality where...
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Library open to everyone. It seeks to make changes, makes the New Age teachings available to everyone, as wide a public as possible. No charge or subscription is required. The library is maintained by voluntary donations, and contributions that readers can offer are sincerely appreciated. Catalogs are available on request. Price is £3.
I should go down there one day, man. I was going to do it when I was working in London, but it closes at 4:30.
Says the life of the library depends on its circulation. Please return books promptly. Book donations are welcome. However, please send us a list of any books you wish to donate to the library before sending the books to us. We will let you know which of them will be most useful.
That'd be a good test, you know. We should send them like really the most sickest of sickest books, so we don't have to have them, and just see if they want them or not.
Yeah, right? That'd be great.
We should come up with a list, man. Just keep them like pretty like mystical, and then something that's just vile. Like the most satanic of satanic ritual book. Yeah, so the OTO, to become a registered religion in Australia, they had to release a lot of their rituals, which you can get on the Australian government webpage. It talks about child sacrifice in it, like killing children, killing the firstborn. Thought I'd tell you about that.
Should I pull that up? Well, here's even a wow. Here's an article from 3 days ago, Business Insider. Dead baby washed up on Australian tourist beach was drowned by her family as a sacrifice, police say.
There you go. It's just becoming normal everywhere now.
Yeah. And especially, you know, with like we were talking about early on, the Celine Dion thing with her whole clothing line. I mean, like I said, it should
Anyone you'd name in Hollywood.
you have kids in
Anyone.
cribs being covered in skull imagery where it's just like cradle to grave without a beat in between. Like, oh, you were born, time to die.
When I was doing the bank, had to do some training, and they played a video about how to spot vulnerabilities. And in it, it went, by 2020, 50% of the UK will have cancer.
Wow.
And no
Makes you
one
wonder
said anything
why
during
that
the video.
is.
Yeah, no one said anything during the video. It's just like totally. I was the only person that was like, anyone thought that was weird when they said 50% of the UK is going to have cancer by 2020. What's the point in giving them a loan then? We ain't going to get paid. Is no one shocked by that? It must be weaponized, surely. No one, I've gone too deep. Let's go back to loans. Got dark. And yeah. How can you watch a video like a room with like 15 people and it flashes on the screen by 2020, 50% of the UK will have cancer? Like no one looks around and goes, shit,
Or it
half of
says
us are going to be dead.
why. Yeah.
Yeah, no one just said anything. They were just like, vulnerable people. It just shows they can just show you that they're going to kill you and no one even's going to react. And you're saying Satanism's here, man. I don't know what kind of spell people like. I don't think it's me anymore. I can't go anywhere. A lot of people are under some kind of spell. I'm serious, man. A lot of people I meet are just not with it.
Here's an article. We might have covered this earlier on, actually, but it's from 2013. Forget Scientology. Celebs are now falling for an even more sinister religion, introducing the satanic sex cult that is snaring stars such as Peaches Geldof.
Who ended up turned up dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That she isn't even alive anymore. Founded by Aleister Crowley, dubbed the wickedest man in the world, Crowley was born in 1875 and styled himself the Great Beast 666. Other stars linked to the cult include Jimmy Page and Jay-Z.
Here's something. This sounds like really big-headed, but I've made friends with a famous granny, and she does books about psychopaths.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts looking into famous murder cases, and then she figured out that the biggest psychopath must be people that abuse children, like really abuse them. And each time I watch her videos, I'm always like really nice. Like I love her work learning about sociopaths and psychopaths. But when she touches on these cases, I always tell her, you need to be really careful because this gets dark. Like it always leads to Satanism and the OTO. And at first she was just like polite, going, really, really? In the first case I said that, she was like, oh my God, you're right. They are Satanists in this case. And then the next case she did, I was like, Satanism and paedophilia are always linked. Be careful going down this, like you need to be a strong woman to stomach this. 3 weeks later, she comes back to me going, I thought you were crazy, you're right. Satanism. And then she'll look into another UK scandal, some child's home that had loads of abuse. And I was like, Satanism. They found dungeons, kids chained to dungeons. Jimmy Savile was there. Satanism. She's going, no, no, no. 2 weeks later, you can link it to at least, well, she'll call it like the occult or something. Now she's like really gets it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I learned a lot from her. She was saying it makes sense because one thing psychopaths do well is if psychopaths meet other psychopaths, they share things.
Yeah.
They pass things around between themselves. They're really quite friendly. But if you're not in the group, then yeah, you're fucked. But yeah, to pass around children or your own children, it isn't that unusual if you're a psychopath. In fact, that's kind of normal. And we're like, that's when we're talking about Madeleine McCann. It's like, why can't you rule out Katie McCann being a psychopath? Like, why is that being ruled out? I'm not saying she is, but definitely shouldn't rule that out. And I think I know exactly where Madeleine McCann's buried. I think I could find her in 2 hours if you got me a plane to Portugal and allowed me to dig 2 areas. I'm pretty sure. And if I know, I think everybody knows that's interested in it. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it all goes down to paedophiles.
Yeah,
Like that Clement dude, yeah.
Did you ever see the video?
At least paedophile rings. Okay, the McCanns, I can't link to Satanism. I'm just telling you that. But I can definitely link it to paedophile rings.
Did you see the video Owen Benjamin did about Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
He did a video where he showed this clip of Leonardo DiCaprio from when he was on Growing Pains, which was like his first big show. And you see him with this guy who's like kind of touching on him, and like they're being like very, for it being like a young teenage boy and like a 30-year-old guy, they're being really touchy and flirty, like, and just kind of playful, and it's like seems kind of creepy. And he's like, oh yeah, Leo is the latest teen heartthrob and all this stuff. And then you find out, Owen Benjamin goes through and he's like, yeah, this guy was arrested and pleaded guilty for sodomizing a child with a foreign object, molestation, having kiddie porn, this, and that. He was like, he was Leo's manager. He was like, this guy was his publicist, pedophile, arrested for this, and it's like Leonardo DiCaprio was like in over his head, surrounded by pedophiles and child molesters. And then he was even saying how some of them got fired, but then Disney hired them back. Like, and I know people that are like kind of iffy about the whole James Gunn thing, and I try to explain to them, like, all right, I understand that those were just tweets and that, maybe they were jokes and everything like that.
They're not. How are they jokes?
But, well, and that's the thing. I don't see punchlines to them. They're not jokes.
It's not comedy.
It's just straight out.
I'm not just
like,
saying that because I'm biased. Like, it's not.
No, you're right.
You can't take any of it as a joke. They're sick tweets.
Yeah, and it's not. They're not jokes. They're
You could
statements.
make jokes out of it. You can make jokes. Do you want to hear a paedophile joke? You ready for this?
Sure.
Here's a paedophile joke. This is actually a joke. I've kind of given it away. What did the little girls who are walking in the woods with a paedophile, right? Late at night. And the little girl looks to the paedophile and goes, are you not scared? Like, do you not get scared walking in the woods by yourself? Like late at night? And the paedophile looks at the little girl and goes, I wouldn't be so worried. You haven't got to walk back by yourself. See, at least that's common. At least
Yeah.
it's
There's a
not a great
build-up, there's a
joke. But
punchline.
yeah. These were just sick tweets of,
Yeah, they were
watch this
statements.
girl getting fucked.
Yeah.
I want to fuck a kid.
But here's the other thing. It's like when you know that there is a systemic pedophile problem in Hollywood, and then this guy has thousands of tweets, it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, I find it hard to believe that this is on this guy's mind. Fucking kids
It's like,
is
there's
on
a
this
guitar
guy's
one
mind
as well.
all
Like
the
a lot
time.
of times, one of the most big positions you've done a guitar is to go, oh, I'm going to finger a minor.
Yeah.
Say that all the time. Going to finger a minor. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Going to think A minor. That's the most popular scale, pentatonic scale you're going to use in like rock. Boys playing A. So I'm going to finger A minor.
But it's like with the whole
It's
James
gone
Gunn.
quiet. I guess it's not that funny, but at least
No, but I know what you mean. Like, yeah, it's but the James Gunn thing. It's like if Hollywood has a systemic problem with pedophiles, and then you have this guy who's tweeting every second about wanting to see little kids naked and banging children. Like, how long do you think it was until someone went to him and was like, "Hey, want to come to this party? Here's a eyes wide shut mask for you to throw on." Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, it's just so obvious. Like, the only thing that could make that thing more incriminating is a picture of him with his dick in a kid's ass. Like, that's like the only next step there is to all that
it
stuff.
started getting crazy after Pizzagate. Just started flooding out.
Yeah. Well, because you had people who were kind of looking for people and trying to root them out and everything. And it's like, even the James Gunn thing, you know, he got fired from Disney and Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's been picked up for the next Suicide Squad movie. So he's still working. Even Bryan Singer, you know,
I guess you got to test the water though. You got to put it out there, see how people react. People aren't really doing. There's no real pushback, so why
yeah.
not push it more out?
And even,
By 2020, it'll be completely. People will just be like normal, man.
you know what the other thing is? I don't know, are you a fan of Queen at all?
Yeah, man.
I saw the movie. Have you seen that, Bohemian
I
Rhapsody?
don't want to watch it.
You shouldn't. It was done by Bryan Singer, who everyone knows. Bryan Singer's a creep. He's had tons of lawsuits against him for bringing young boys to parties and
How
raping
dare you,
them. And
Jamie?
this is all in the news. It's all public knowledge.
These are just accusations, by the way.
Yeah. But anyway, this movie.
Jamie hasn't got any evidence of this. It's
Let me
just.
tell you, it's amazing in this movie how
I don't agree with that statement at all.
it's amazing
I'm
in this
sure he's a nice
movie
guy.
how Freddie Mercury, you know, was kissed by a manager and then pushed him away and rejected him, and then had a long stare from across the gas station payphone to another man, and somehow that's how you contract AIDS. Like, it's really mind-boggling how you have this movie where you never see this guy in bed with anyone, and yet he somehow ends up with AIDS. Like,
It
it's
gets more weirder than that. There was an article I read. I didn't finish reading it, but you might be able to find it for me. Do you remember Band-Aid with Queen did?
yeah.
Yeah. Apparently that's all a big scam because we were actually bombing a lot of the farmers because they were considered rebels,
Well, and that was
and
like
that's
that was the
and
main
that's
build
why.
up of the movie. The climax was the Band-Aid concert, and they had just like 15 to 20 minutes of just them on that stage performing those songs,
Yeah,
like
so
the
that's why there was
actors.
starvation. It wasn't because of what they were saying, like they can't get food to them. It's because they were bombing them. And really, Band-Aid was about a queen um, coming back together,
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the whole
comeback concert.
that was the climax of the movie, was the Band-Aid concert and him going to his bandmates and
Is
being
that
like,
true? Like, I don't know Queen that well. Did they break up and then Band-Aid
yeah,
was like the comeback?
yep.
Right. And then Bob Geldof was behind it, and journalists tried to talk to him, going, "Look, you can't talk about the starvation without talking about what's causing it, and it's being caused by the same people you're sending money to that are bombing the so-called rebels." I don't know anything about this, by the way. Could be total shit.
But that's how it always is, isn't it?
And then Geldof, no, dude, gets rid of. We've already had Geldof come up tonight. Who's Peaches Geldof?
Yeah. To Chris in the comments. Yeah. I mean, I get so sick of this. You know, there's an issue. Let's throw an actor in somewhere to shoot a round off into the floor or something, and then out of nowhere everything's debunked. Nothing to look at here. The whole Pizzagate thing. Yeah. There was never anything addressed as far as the emails, and it really.
All
I
the Instagram posts.
Yeah, and it's like, as much as I really love and appreciate,
Or the weird bands playing there.
yeah,
Or the weird art.
and
Or
I really hate how there are these super shady topics, whether it be Sandy Hook or Pizzagate, and they become these no-go things because And I guess when you're in a position like Alex Jones, you kind of got to weigh things where it's like, is the smear going to, push people away from the overall message? But Sandy Hook is as shady as it gets. Pizzagate is as shady as it gets. I mean, even the thing like Owen Benjamin was talking about, this guy, James Alefantis, he owns a pizza shop. Why is GQ calling him one of the most influential people in Washington, D.C.? You don't get to be one of the most influential people in Washington, D.C. because of pizza
fucking
pies.
David Brock, who owns Media Matters.
Yeah. So it's like, that if I would think if David Brock owns Media Matters, that's just a cover for what, is going on with his significant other.
I just think that they like hot dogs and they order $65,000 worth
right
to the White House. It's just normal. And they leave handkerchiefs lying around. What's this handkerchief about? The black and white one?
With the map
on it. Yeah, it's got some map on it. And what walnut sauce do you like for dessert, Jamie?
Yeah.
You like some of that walnut sauce? Or do you have Domino's on your pizza? Fancy some of them Domino's on your pizza?
Yeah. Chris, as far as
or some of them succulent Hawaiian hot dogs.
Chris, as far
maybe a hot tub party. I don't know.
As far as the pedo symbols, that territory, there's certain things.
That was in the Celine Dion. Did you see the staircase, the spiral black and white staircase?
No.
And it looked like the paedophile symbol, like a heart and a heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's even got that in.
I always get hesitant with those, and to make the most obvious.
What about Marilyn Manson's? Do you get hesitant that he's got one? Tatted on his arm.
Tatted on him. But with some of that stuff, the reason
that's
why
weird.
the reason why I try to kind of
and he just happens to be, kin of the Church of Satan, hangs around with creepo Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Who hangs around with actual satanic murderers, Damien Eccles.
But the reason why I don't think
it's just like everywhere you go, it's just like
yeah, it's all tied together. But the reason why I don't think the symbols alone are enough to really run on is, look at, for example, what happened with the Nazis. They took the swastika.
No, but it's when you get
India,
it's when you get a collection of them in one place.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Manson. It's like you got a million creep factors, and he has the tattoo. It's like the tattoo isn't
Tainted
the main,
love.
main
Bam, bam.
point. It's like,
get away.
I
bam,
mean,
bam.
I'm sure there are businesses all the time. Like,
fucking
the big
horrible.
one is people will look at, a pyramid in something, and they'll be like, well, if there's a pyramid there, it must be an Illuminati thing. And it's like,
that'd be right.
But at some point, it's
That'd be
monkey
right,
see,
bro.
monkey do.
Illuminati.
I'm sure there are people that use pyramids
Some
in
of
their
them
logos that
sacrifices going on, doing them dark arts.
I'm sure there are people, though, that use
Probably
use
reading some
pyramids
Aleister Crowley.
that aren't related to the Illuminati. They just see it everywhere, and they think, well, my business, monkey see, monkey do. And it just sort of trickles down in that regard. But
How did you not see this one? Did you see that rock that came from a different solar system, and it went near the sun and then pulled away?
no. I don't believe anything
Dude.
concerning outer space.
Even NASA even Neil deGrasse Tyson admitted it.
Well, that guy's an actor.
That means it's a UFO. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson said, "Oh, that's proof something's visited us." That's true.
I don't know. I don't.
Check it out, man. It's called Amamunu or something like that. It's named after some Brazilian thing. Just type it. It looks like a giant rock. Just put in. I don't know. Do you want me to find it?
No, I'll look it up.
It looks like a massive rock.
I
been
basically I don't know what it is. Solar system first interstellar visitor dazzle scientists from November to first rock from outside the solar system sails past Earth. Mysterious rock.
That's
attacking
it, yeah.
Alien spaceship. Yeah.
That's it. It is an alien. Mate, have I ever said aliens are real, Jamie?
Listen. I've seen.
Have you ever
things
heard
in
me
the
say that?
skies that?
Jamie, have you ever heard me say that aliens are something we need to look into?
No,
Okay. Have I ever said UFOs are anything but man-made?
not really. I mean, I've seen a
Have I ever
UFO
said, right, have I ever
close
said
up.
reptilians are real?
No.
Right. I'm telling you, if that's true, I don't know if that thing's bullshit, like NASA is bullshit, all the space research bullshit, but if that thing is real, that's alien, and they visited us.
I mean,
That's what they're saying. It's not me saying that. That's Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that.
yeah.
It went to the sun and it's not being pulled in. So, give you a quick space lesson. Everything in our solar system is drawn in by gravity because of the sun. So, if something comes from a different solar system, it's going to get drawn to the sun. This got drawn to the sun and then thought, fuck that, and sped off.
I mean, I don't know.
Alien, bro.
I have mixed feelings with all that stuff. And I mean, I saw a UFO, and let me tell you, it was so close up that afterwards I went home and cried.
When did
Because
this happen?
maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. It was I was coming home, me and a friend were driving around the block and we were talking in his car, and then I noticed his where he was looking went up and over to the one corner. So I looked over there too, and right over the store that we were about to go to, the one next to it, there's this giant glowing orb type thing. The only thing I can tell people to try to make you understand it is, have you ever seen the pictures from Disney World, the giant Epcot ball?
No. But I've seen orbs before.
In Disney World, there's this
So,
giant orb globe type thing they have that people stand in front of, and I mean it's probably 2 times the size of that. Like, this thing was huge,
yeah, the ones I saw were tiny.
just hovering over the store, and then it retracted back very quickly, like in a blink of an eye, retracted back and was maybe a quarter of the size. Then it retracted back again and just sort of zoomed off. And I mean, we pulled into the gas station right next to it and sat there in silence for 15 minutes. And we're just like, what the fuck? And again, we're people who look into the conspiracy theories of reptiles and, you know, everything else. But seeing that, like, we sat there just saying, what the fuck? What the fuck? He went in the store, dropped me off at home. I went up in my room and I just started crying. Because my whole concept of reality and what was real and what could be, like, it basically put it into perspective how insignificant I am.
A little bit of weather modification.
It could have been anything. I live near an underground military bunker.
It could be those. They're beaming so many frequencies into the
It
atmosphere.
could have been Project Bluebeam. It could have just been a
Could have
hologram.
been.
It could have been anything. But when you have something like that really close up to you, like a stone's throw away, I could have hit this thing with a rock. Like,
Well, I told you before, just in a nutshell, when me and my family walked home from we did have 2 beers, walking on a cliff home, we got chased, like they were snooker balls size, and they were dancing in between us, right between our heads, 5 orbs, and then just flew off.
yeah, I've
That's
had.
the only paranormal experience I've ever really had. That was paranormal.
I saw a ghost in my basement once.
No, you
That,
didn't,
yeah, I
Jamie.
did. Even that, I ran up 2 flights of stairs. My girlfriend at the
You
time,
watch too many movies, man. You let your imagination get a little wild.
I don't know. Normally,
I
shit,
got chased by a werewolf when I was 3, man. I found like a
normally
monster in
shit
my
like
cupboard.
that. Like, I just saw it as like a white, misty sort of figure standing in this hallway, and I just bolted it up the stairs. I just ran up 2 flights of stairs. And my mom and my girlfriend at the time were like, "What the fuck just happened to him?" Like,
How old were you, though?
this was a few years ago too. This wasn't long ago.
If I buy you a spirit box, will you turn it on and use it?
Sure.
There's electronic ones.
Yeah.
You talk to spirits. You would do it.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not going to watch it.
But I mean, that's one of the things where I think it's one of those things where, you know, it could be your mind playing tricks on you, but I do think when you open yourself up to the idea that there are more things going on.
What are you making off the rock, bro? What's your analysis?
I don't know. I'll have to look more into it.
Do you think it's just bullshit?
That's the thing. I get very skeptical of anything concerning outer space.
Yeah, well, you do think the Earth's flat, so.
Yeah.
Don't know why I'm taking a piss out of that now, after I've just said aliens are real, bro.
So I don't know. I'll read into it though. I mean, I question what the moon
If not,
is
at least
all the time.
if let's say it's not real and it's bullshit, go along with that. What are they preparing us for, Jamie?
My homie and I were driving to Prescott, and we saw a green mist to our left. My buddy said, "You see that?" I was like, "No, and neither do you." That's funny. I don't know what it could be. You know what my problem is anything that came out of that, like, post World War II, 1950s, whether it's like atomic bombing Japan, going to outer space. Like, I'm so doubtful of any of the main narratives from that point in time. Like, I don't think we nuked Japan. That's one of the things, because the plant started growing back right away. I think we firebombed the shit out of it, but I don't think we dropped a nuke on it. And I've even seen things where you've had military people say, we used to do nuclear tests, and what they would do is they'd have one group of soldiers stack a pile of dynamite over here, and then we would drop the nuke over there, and they looked exactly the same, and one was like to test it against the other, and it's all you'd really need to do is just have a different squad of troops stack another pile of dynamite and set them both
What about
off.
dinosaurs? Are dinosaurs real?
That I don't know either. I know the ones you see in the museums aren't.
I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
Evolution's the big one, because
That's a
evolution,
crock.
if you follow that to its logical end, it's transhumanization.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things in the whole, in that thing I was talking about on the Corbett report, where he's talking about the oil people taking over the world. They were the ones funding Darwin and everything like that. And I mean, even with the Darwin, Wedgwood, Huxley stuff, like, okay, we're supposed to believe all of our stuff about, evolution and genetics from a bunch of eugenicists that were inbreeding. Like, that seems like such an obvious, like, red flag right there. Like, the idea of lawyers being the lawmakers. Like, I don't know why people don't look at that and just say, excuse me? Like,
To wipe out Christianity.
like, this guy's marrying his cousin, and yet I'm supposed to believe his idea of how things happen. And I was watching a thing yesterday where even this one guy said, the whole crux on anything involving evolution relies on these 8 words. What was it? With enough time, anything is possible. Or it was like, given enough time, anything is possible. And it's like, okay, so given enough time, a banana will turn to a butterfly. No.
Melissa Melton thinks they're going to make a unicorn.
They might try. I mean, at this rate, well, all you'd have to do is splice a rhinoceros with a horse.
Just because you're seeing unicorns everywhere.
Yeah. They could.
They're going to go, look what we could create. We created a unicorn.
Yeah, with all the cross species and
Because
all
people
that
would
stuff.
accept that, man.
Yeah. And they could just say they
See.
found it somewhere.
No, we created a unicorn. So beautiful.
That could really...
It's transgender. Hasn't got gender.
Actually, yeah, from that angle, now that you mention it, that could really sell people on the idea that this whole cross-species splicing...
We could do it with humans too.
Yeah. We can make a human that breathes underwater.
Doesn't shit a nappy. Imagine that. New improved baby 2.0.
Yeah.
Doesn't wake up at night. You can leave it at home when you go to work. You'll do the laundry. Yeah, robot babies. Robot babies, man. That's the next film.
You know what I think is funny with the talk of this, like, altering genetics and everything like that, and I think the California fires, I know people have their different theories on, is it land management? Did a group...
It is, 100%.
Did a group want to clear the area out so they can redevelop it? Like this, and that?
They want to kick humans off it, and it matches the UN plans when they said they didn't want humans in that area.
Hold on, just to the comments. Big Chris.
Chris!
That's what I say exactly. And I try to explain this to people.
Read what he says,
He
dude.
says,
I'm not reading it.
he says, I believe in intelligent design because I'm intelligent and I design things. And I say that too. I
used to be a hardcore atheist.
I used to say, I look at things where it's like, if everything around me that I find fulfillment and enjoyment in was designed and created, whether it be this computer, the headphones I'm using, the microphone I'm talking into, and everything else, then it comes down to sheer probability. How am I supposed to believe everything in life of meaning and enjoyment was created and designed and brought to life by someone, but yet the creators and the designers were not the same, we're just accidental? That doesn't add up. I mean, and you know, there's also the whole problem with the laws of physics, you know, being at odds with evolution, where the law of entropy, where things lose and decay in value, they don't gain. I mean, if evolutionary, if you want to look at it on a micro level, if the concepts behind evolution were true, you would get healthier as you got older. But we don't. We get sicker and frailer and...
Wow, some people do.
I don't know. I mean, maybe
Cher does.
Cher does. Don't care if it's God or my grandfather. Yeah, exactly.
Do you believe now? Or Prince Charles and that Prince Philip.
Well, we all know that obviously you'll get healthier as you get older.
Bill Clinton actually looks like a vampire.
If you're
Theresa
drinking
May
baby's
actually
blood.
looks like a vampire.
Yeah, those two do. There's something in them. Even when I was watching the thing, there's some pictures of like the old Rockefellers where, I mean, they just look ghoulish.
Dude, I got an right, Halloween, right? I'll help pay for it. But I need 2 men that are actually men, because we might die. What we do is, first of all, we meet up 3 days before, or maybe 5 days before, and we baptize each other on Halloween, around Halloween. So instead of worshipping Satan before the Halloween festival, we'll do like a ritual to Jesus, because we're probably going to die. And then we need proper camping equipment and some warm clothes. And we've got to break in, we've got to camp around that castle in Belgium.
You know, I don't know if I've told you this, but you know, I was baptized in water from the River Jordan. And my mother, when I was born of a virgin birth. My mom didn't have sex to have me. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm Jesus or anything, but I kind of fit the bill. So we'll be all right.
It's just we got to go with people that are, I think, lost men that are willing to die for an adventure, man. I think we need it, bro. And then once we get close to we'll get to the castle for Halloween, ditch everything, try and get in. I think the best way to try and get in might be through the front door.
I know people who would be down. I remember I went to this abandoned psych center right around my area.
Bro. This is like eyes wide shut on steroids, bro.
Yeah, well,
Everyone says this is... Bring up that chateau in Belgium that I'm talking about. But everyone says that's where it goes down. Even that guy that wrote 13 Lines to Bloodline says that's the place. Because that's like Alex Jones going to Bohemian Grove. We can do it. That's like the new Bohemian Grove film. But I think we should prepare. Because it sounds like an ill-conceived plan at the moment.
I was going to say, I had a friend where we went to this old mental asylum that's in the area that people swear is haunted, and I had a friend with me, and we were all just going to sneak in. My friend was like, oh, this wall is drywalled up. Good thing I got a crowbar, and just starts knocking through the walls and shit like that. So, I mean, I have some friends that would definitely go and be down for it.
You might actually get ritually sacrificed though, bro. Possibilities look quite high.
If there's a way to go.
Apparently they don't bother if you actually are into Jesus.
You know what that for some reason just made me realize that I wasn't aware of. I was talking to Brett lately, who's gotten really big into political YouTube stuff, and we were talking about the people from Daily Wire. Did you know Andrew Klavan wrote the books for the movies True Crime and what was the other one, A Moment to Kill? Or
I don't even know who he is,
Andrew Klavan.
but I know he's Jewish already.
Actually converted to Christianity. That's why the mention of
Because
Jesus
Klavan's a
in my-
Jewish name.
Yeah. But yeah, he wrote what is it? True Crime and Don't Say a Word, which were very big movies in the late 90s, but he wrote the books that those were based off of. So I mean, he's very accomplished as a screenwriter, a novelist, and everything like that, but now he's in... Yeah, I think Stephen King referred to him as one of like the best American authors of our time, but he does political commentary instead. Well, in addition to being a writer.
Type in Ted Nugent jailbait.
As in Ted?
Ted Nugent, yeah. Alex Jones's mate. The problem with Ted Nugent jailbait.
Let's see. What does this song mean to you? The meaning of the song is about a sick fuck who raped kids and tried to bribe a cop with sex with a teenage girl. Why the fuck is Ted Nugent not in prison?
Gets worse.
Let's look at these lyrics.
It just gets worse and worse and worse.
Oh, hold on. Let me use my other program where I got pop-up blocker because this is ungodly. I've got no inhibitions, so keep your keys out of your ignition. I steal a car like I've got the curse. I can't resist the old lady's curse. Jailbait, you look so good to me. Jailbait, won't you set me free? Jailbait, you look so fine, fine, fine. You know you said,
He married like an underage girl.
well, I don't care if
Well.
you're just 13. You look too good to be true. I know that you're probably clean. There's just one thing I gotta do.
There's tons of stuff from Ted Nugent.
So tell your mama that I'm back in town. She likes us boys when it's time to get down. She's got this craving for the underage. I just might be your mama's brand new rage. Honey, you look so nice. She's young, she's tender. Won't you please surrender? She's so fine, she's mine all the time. I woke my mind. It's alright, baby. It's quite alright.
Or just go and Google and type in Ted Nugent is a paedophile, something like that. There's loads of stories on Ted Nugent, loads. And he married an underage girl, because you can do it in America if you get consent from the parents.
Hold on, I want to see what Big Chris here says. Stephen's evolution argument can suck when fossils are the only proof that a living organism once existed. The mule is sterile. What will scientists think of their fossils?
Kevin's joined the show. We could phone him on Facebook. Just phone him up. We can do it next Sunday.
Chris, which Stephen are you talking about? Molyneux or Stephen Fry or... just curious which one. But yeah, fossils are like I've always said that when people point to fossils, it's like, yeah, you have bones here, but just because you have bones doesn't mean the fairy tale you've created out of them is true or not.
I don't know shit about it, man.
1991. How old was Nugent in 91?
Must have been in his 30s, I guess.
69. Born in 48, so 58.
Dinosaurs are real. How does Alex Jones not know
Yeah, he
about
was
this
in like
stuff?
his 40s when that song was written.
He has had lots of underage girlfriends. He's quite public about it.
their personal life section. He had a wife that died in a car crash.
That's normal.
Let's see. On the Joe Rogan Experience, Nugent denied that he had ever been in romantic relationships with underage girls other than when he was underage himself. This goes against what Nugent previously said in a Behind the Music episode where he admitted several affairs with underage girls. And then it has lyrics to Jailbait. Let's see. 2 women have accused Nugent of having sexual relationships with them when they were under 18 years old in 1978. Nugent began a relationship with 17-year-old Hawaii native P.LEVI Massa. Due to the age difference, they could not marry, so Nugent joined Massa's parents in signing documents to make himself her legal guardian. Courtney Love,
Which is the same thing.
Courtney Love, of all people, also claimed that she was forced to perform fellatio on Nugent when she was 12. Where was she?
That's believable.
12, yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
on Alex Jones show, like all the time.
Yeah, Chris, that's Molyneux. It's a weird name to spell, but I know you're talking about. But it's definitely cool that you subscribed because of the video I did on him. You know, he's one of those people where sometimes he gets it right, and then sometimes he's just so far off base because he's so just steadfast in his ideology. Like, that's the thing with when we first started this video today, I was talking about a rebuttal video he did to Tucker Carlson talking to Ben Shapiro about driverless cars and stuff, and he completely misrepresented what Tucker was saying in order to make his point. But that's just because, you know, when you've marketed yourself on sort of this super capitalist, like almost anarcho-capitalism, and someone's talking about regulations, all you hear is regulations, and, you know, you go after them. When what Tucker was trying to say is, like, if you have an industry like driverless cars, first off, I think it's just dangerous. All the computer shit could be hacked. I get nervous enough the idea of being on roads with idiot drivers. The last thing I want is to be on roads with cars that are hackable. But, you know, Tucker was just saying that if you have this thing that's the biggest employer in the country, and then something's going to come in and put all these people out of work, you can't then turn around and be surprised when all these people start to think something like socialism sounds like a good idea. And instead of dealing with what Tucker was saying in that regards, he just tried to attack the idea where Tucker said that he would regulate that industry without a doubt because he thinks the ripple effects are too great. And, you know, here's the other thing that really bothers me is when you have someone like Molyneux, where I sort of made his whole reason, logic, evidence into like a meme. You know, yeah, reason, logic, and evidence is great. But when people try to say we need to do everything based off reason, logic, and evidence, that's so cold in regard to humans, where humans function mostly out of emotion. Not saying that that's right. I'm just saying that's the reality, that humans are emotional beings. So how far will we really get? Like, I mean, I would think, you know, some of the biggest atrocities that have happened in humanity are out of the reason, logic, evidence, and let's put emotions aside.
No, I kind of disagree. I think we've become more emotional, and that's why you're seeing a rise in anxiety and all this kind of stuff.
I agree with that.
I think before we were pretty tough.
But let me put it to you like this. Do you think when the globalists come up with a calculation where it's like Bill Gates' whole, well, we need to lower CO2, so you have humans times services times this times that, well, that's reason, logic, and evidence why we should kill everyone and lower the population. There's no emotion in that argument. That's just a calculation that we need to achieve this, therefore X times X times X equals whatever. Like, you need a balance. That's all I'm saying, is you need to balance between the two, rather than think we can just sheerly rationalize whatever with reason, logic, and evidence. Humans do respond emotionally to things, so you can't just, you know, that's why Tucker's saying if you put everyone out of work, they're going to feel some sort of way about it. They're not just going to calculate their next move. They're going to feel as if they've been screwed over, and then feel that maybe socialism would be a good idea, because at least then it ensures them food rather than the risk of the free market. I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying, though. Like, I think we are like, there's a large part of the population that's overly emotional and functions sheerly in an emotional sense and isn't rational at all.
It's like everyone says to laugh, it's probably doing with not seeing death anymore and having a different relationship to it.
Yeah.
You used to be surrounded by it, and now you just hide away from that. People become emotional, anxiety's up, and that's probably weaponized.
Yeah, as Chris, as you're saying, you know, it's very similar to your mom, who's a fundamental Christian. I would say Molyneux is a fundamental capitalist, where it's like, it's just, he's too stuck in one lane, and when it's almost like, it's like an ideologue, where he's not listening to
but
the
maybe
actual...
we're so far deep in trouble that maybe capitalism is the best idea we've got so far.
And I agree with that. But you know, I'm not one of these people who will just say, well,
my criticism of Stefan Mon is he gets a bit weird on 9/11. That was a weird one.
Well, I'm just saying, you know,
9/11 debate, it wasn't very good.
I think capitalism is great, but I'm not going to go as so far to say you can rely sheerly on capitalism and there's no place for regulation whatsoever. Like, I think some regulations are justified. Like,
because you're a statist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like that's the whole thing. Even Lauren Southern, I saw her debate a person who is an anarcho-capitalist, and her whole thing is like, she basically going in her opening remarks.
Bitcoin.
In her opening remarks, she laid out his entire argument for him. And then she said, and you don't realize that you're an ideologue and this is unrealistic, and how it's not a solution to any of the current problems we face. And he was like, yeah, but you know, no borders, the free flow of labor, this, and that. And she was just like, okay, when you wake up in a Muslim country, how is this ideology going to work out for you? Because you'll end up importing Sharia. And he just didn't have anything to say about it, because, again, a lot of these people, when they get so steadfast in whether it's communism or anarcho-capitalism or anything like that, their end goal is so many steps away. Like, I realized when I became very libertarian, I started to look at things and I'm like, okay, well, you can't transition from this, like, we're tiptoeing towards socialism, and I can't expect them to go from damn near socialist to libertarian in one step. Like, you've almost got to go from where we're at now to a conservative Republican. You got to take certain steps to get it to go that far right. You can't just have
What about the Russell Brand kind of socialism? The nice kind?
The nice kind, yeah. I don't know about that. But you can't have the pendulum swinging wildly from left to right, which is what it seems like a lot of these people would like to happen. But I think it's unrealistic, and that's where the position...
What about the socialism Bob Geldof talks about? That'd work.
I don't know.
He drinks champagne.
Well, that's all I need to know about that. But it's like, you really can't have the pendulum swinging wildly from left to right, because Tucker's whole position, which is, again, why it's taken out of context, is Tucker says, we were an agrarian society for thousands of years, And then in the last 100 years, we had the steam engine and everything got thrown on its head. And now we're in this technological revolution where everything's about to be thrown on its head. And I just wonder how much change can humans handle before they lose it, basically. And I mean, I haven't heard anyone else posit that idea, and I think it's very valid. And the other thing that Tucker says is he says, and this is one of the other things that I really took issue with Molyneux saying. I was going to do a whole video of this. Is Tucker says, out of the Industrial Revolution, people didn't know how to cope with it, and that's where capitalism and socialism came from. Now, Stefan says that this is bullshit because capitalism and socialism came from a handful of authoritarians forcing it upon the masses. Not true. Not true whatsoever. That is such a fallacy that is unbelievable. Because I know you, Paul, you've seen the videos from that guy, Yuri something. He's a KGB defector, right? You've seen those videos.
Fuck knows, man. I'm so stoned, I'm gonna die in a minute.
There was this guy, though. He was a KGB propagandist, and he defected, and then he started giving lectures where he was talking.
Ah, it's in my to-watch list.
Yeah,
he's
talking about how to subvert a culture. That the best way to overthrow a culture or a country is without war at all. It's without violence. It's through
silent weapons.
It's silent weapons for quiet wars. It's through subversion. And one of the points he makes, which is a very uplifting point if you're a country facing subversion, is he says a country that doesn't want to be subverted can't be. You can't subvert a country that isn't broken. But if a country is demoralized, and if a country is lost and doesn't know where they're going, or doesn't have a goal or a direction, well, then you can subvert it. So that right there, from someone who was in the business of subverting countries, shows that Stefan's whole idea that communism and socialism was just crammed down the throats of the masses is complete bullshit. These countries were broken. I mean, Germany was economically bankrupt before Hitler rose to power. It's not like they were in a good state and then suddenly Hitler just came in and was like, here's the plan, guys. Oh, and it's at gunpoint. No, Germany wanted it, but they were just broken and didn't know where else to turn. Yeah, Hitler overthrew some shit in his rise to power, but he sold the masses on his ideas. But it's because they were so demoralized that it did seem like a good idea. So again, I think it's Stefan is just looking at things through his standard framework and not actually hearing what's being said, but rather hearing an argument that he can fight against, which isn't even the argument Tucker put forth. And again, I think it's funny that it's like that interview was 2 weeks old, which is forever in internet time, and then he just decided to hop on the bandwagon as other people were putting it up.
I think it's funny that I tried to let one rip and he didn't even say anything.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Oh, that's how much it's deteriorated. Oh.
But yeah, as far as Nugent, I still got his Wikipedia up. Courtney Love at 12, it just makes me wonder, where was Courtney Love at 12?
I don't want to know. It explains a lot there, doesn't it?
Born to countercultural parents in San Francisco. Primarily raised in Portland, Oregon. Democratic spouses. Let's see. Child of a psychotherapist. Publisher and road manager for the Grateful Dead. Alright, I guess that shows why she was in those circles. So, I mean, she was probably one that was passed around as a kid.
It's how you seem to get in. And then they make you pregnant and you have to kill and sacrifice it like in Mary's Baby. And then Mary's Baby actually happened to Roman Polanski's girlfriend. Yeah, the whole thing's weird.
Yeah. Let's see. Love spent her early years in Haight-Ashbury district of San Francisco until her parents' 1969 divorce, spurred by her mother's allegations that her father had fed Courtney LSD when she was a toddler. Though he denied the claim, full custody of Love was awarded to the mother. They moved to Maricola, Oregon, where they lived among the Mohawk River. She completed her psychology degree. There, Love was adopted by her stepfather. When Love was 10, they adopted a boy, where she struggled academically. At 9... Oh, actually, at 9, a psychologist noted that she exhibited signs of autism. You know, I think I saw an article, Computing Forever covered it in his Why Is This a Thing series, where they were talking about, and I think it was in England, schools where you have kids that are trans that are basically grooming autistic kids to be trans. Like, they're going
Yeah, why
to,
wouldn't you?
right? They're going to autistic kids and being like, oh, how do you feel? Maybe you're not a boy. Maybe you should do this. And people were saying that all these trans kids in this school will all show up, like, dressed similar, and it seems very cult-like. Like, they're displaying, like, standard cult behavior. Let me see if I can find that.
Jamie, I'm going to have to go soon. If I smoke any more weed, I'm going to pass out.
Alright, well, it's been 2 hours. We should probably wrap it up anyway.
I think I got a bit carried away with it this weekend. I've had a really shitty time at work, so people need to pray. Pray for Paul's job.
Here's an article right here. The trans cult and gender hypochondria.
Yeah, no more kiddie porn before bed.
Medical students' disease, also known as second-year syndrome or intern syndrome, is a condition frequently reported in medical students who perceive themselves to be experiencing the symptoms of a disease in which they are studying. Wow. This I might have to save this article so we can get into it next week. But I think
that reminds me of all the suicide training they do at school.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's basically like a whole thing saying that you have kids that are studying this stuff and then ending up thinking they are it. I'm gonna bookmark this so we can look into that some more. That'll be interesting. But alright, yeah, let's wrap things up.
I'll catch you next time. They do it earlier, so I'm not.
Alright, yeah, I'll try not to sleep in. I'll try and behave. But alright, everyone, take care. Paul, I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, man.
Alright, take care.